Hi everyone. This is my first time teaching or speaking in Belgium. So after tonight, let me know how it went. But thank you for popping my cherry.
Thank you for popping my cherry. In Belgium, I'm very excited about this. So you can share this too, because this is your panel. But we're recording for Laurie's podcast. We're doing a little video as well, and if that comes out nice, maybe we'll throw that on YouTube, or you all get copies of it or something. We'll talk about that, however, because you might not like it. You like my hair wasn't right or whatever. And we're going to practice sharing the mics, even though we don't need them for you all to hear. The recording equipment is capturing it for the podcast. So I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Yeah, let's land a little bit first. Let's slow down together. So if that feels good to you, you can close your eyes. Otherwise, just leave them open. But turn inward somehow. Take a breath and maybe sigh on the exhale. And then with your next exhale, maybe a sound comes out as well. See if your body wants to make some gentle movements. Maybe a little stretch here and there. Maybe you want to yawn, stretch your face, make some weird faces. And weird sounds when you do that. Feel your butt on the floor or the chair, maybe your feet as well. You can take a hand and intuitively just place it somewhere on your body. Breathe to your hand. Breathe to that place. And just check in with yourself. How are you doing right now? How is it to be you in this moment? And whatever you're noticing, take a breath into that, lean into it. See if you can give it even more space. It's all already here. Let's take another deep breath together in. And sigh. Again, breathing in. And one more and a little weirder. And in your own pace, maybe opening your eyes again, coming back to where you are, the space around you, the people around you. And maybe look around as well. You don't need to have eye contact, but you can just see the beings around. And you're allowed to have awkward eye contact. Because Reed is into that. Welcome.
So I think maybe the best way to start is to go through a little introduction and to set the context for this discussion tonight. I then pass the mic. My name is Reid Mihalko. Read About Sex, REID, aboutsex.com is my main website. I'm clearly labeled as a sex geek, and I've been doing workshops and nerding out with people professionally about sex and relationships for 20 years now, and even before that, before I went pro. From the United States, if that's not always already somehow evidence that I might not be Belgian. And it's a great privilege to get to travel around the world and talk to people about like how's dating, how's love, how's sex going, and I'm very curious about like what are the shared struggles that we're all having around the planet that kind of are happening regardless of the cultures that you're growing up in or the places that you're living in the planet. And when we were talking about, the weekend that we're going to be doing teaching, but like, let's have a discussion panel, like let's nerd out, because I wouldn't be the teacher that I am if I hadn't gotten to what I call brain sex, like talk to and nerd out and like share ideas with other educators and also just with other human beings. So like the reason I'm here tonight is I love talking about this stuff because I come, from a family that just didn't talk about any of the struggles that were going on in our family. So my mom and dad loved each other tremendously, madly in love. Me and my three siblings got so much love and secure attachment from them, but they didn't know how to talk about or work through their relationship stuff. And it really fucked them up. And my mom would result to drinking and would become an alcoholic to cope. And my dad was that American, like, the woman I love isn't happy, we must not have enough money. So he became a workaholic. And they just couldn't fix that. And it really kind of wreaked havoc on our family. And so like for me, love wasn't enough to be healthy. And for me to try to figure out like, what are we missing? And one of those pieces is like, we don't talk about this stuff enough, like in ways that are really helpful. So tonight, like just talking about the struggles that we're finding for ourselves, for the people that we work with, for our friends, and kind of having this open discussion where we want you to be engaged with us as well. And like let's talk about this. And we want to role model like having a conversation that's not, I will have my 5 minutes and talk until the bell rings, like, because that's not how we talk to our friends. And like, how do we be good role models and just trying to have conversations about like what we're struggling with and what might help. And one of those things that might help is actually just talking about it at first. And yes, I'm a big nerd about the awkward, but when things are awkward and we notice it, that means we're at least acknowledging it rather than the family I grew up in, which is no one talked about the elephant in the room. And now, like, part of what I do is I'm like, there is an elephant in the room. Everyone sees the elephant, and can we talk about it? So I just want to say thank you for all wanting to be a yes to this. Why are you here?
Was this your short introduction?
I was setting the context, but yes, I could make it longer.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Lore Blanke. I live in Sweden. I'm from Belgium. I'm now and then visiting. I don't like introductions, but just so you know, I'm working around intimacy and sexuality with all kinds of people and couples. I'm very excited about talking here, and it's the first time I'm on a panel. First time I'm organizing it too. So I invited some of my favorite people here in Belgium. And I'm already going to pass on the mic and ask you, why did you say yes to coming? Why are you here?
Hello, everyone. Is this mic actually working? It's working. I was like, this feels like pretend, but it's actually working. Okay, good. Okay.
I'm just gonna make sure.
Yeah. This is probably that moment that you should actually check it. Yeah. Actually, only a couple of weeks ago, we did there was a whole podcast, and then after 45 minutes, they were like, it's not on. And then let's do the whole thing again. My name is Joris. I want to express that the button of my pants is open because 7 days ago I had this. I was taken into emergency care. I was taken to the hospital, and they removed my appendix. So I'm very happy that actually I'm here. But then, for maybe the awkward moment that might arrive later, I'm already saying it when I stand up. My pants might go down. Just not to make it awkward. Huh? Yeah, this is what you love. Why do I think I'm here? I thought it was a very funny question. Okay, they're asking my expertise on dating. A couple of years ago, I was in a 12-year relationship. It ended. And then I was a little bit like, oh shit, what do I now do? Because I don't actually know how to flirt. And then someone challenged me, can you make a workshop? Like if you would dream up a workshop, and then this workshop, conscious flirting, started to get into my idea, can we not just have pickup artists, that I would get, that's not how I would actually flirt. And then I did this experiment with tons of my friends to ask everyone, whoever is great at flirting, can I soak them from their knowledge, and can I really figure out what is the beauty about that process, and I think it's kind of dating or flirting, it's playing with life and life energy. So if she invited me, I was like, oh, let's talk about life. That's kind of how it feels. And I think when two people meet, it can be such a beautiful experience, but we can be so frightened for it. And for me, once I embraced all the fears, there were so many great exercises that it pulled up. And then aside from that, I do a lot of coaching work, so I work with a lot of people also individually in groups, and these themes just keep arising, and so I love these topics, and I do. There's a few people that were at the Men's Festival as well. I've been running the Men's Festival here in Belgium for the last couple of years, and now I'm doing this Men's Network organization that we started a year ago. So also, I love seeing so many males here, because there's also a really a male struggle within the dating scene, and I feel like it's a wrong perspective. There's so much, so I kind of want to put a voice to that as well. Well, great.
And there's another mic there.
Some mics down there too.
Yeah.
You get the other mic.
Can I have two?
Hi, I'm Minne Marlo. So about 10 years ago, I started deepening my work and my mission into what I have called Compass to Connection, in which I was guiding people, individuals, couples, and groups around sexuality, connection, relationships, from a therapy kind of perspective and from pleasure experimentation kind of perspective. So both went really well. And during those years, I noticed often that people needed a place of practice, and that many people were struggling in dating, and that they couldn't, or often couldn't, find a good person to practice relationship skills or sexuality with. Where do you build experience when your problem is your insecurity of reaching out to people, or where how do you practice when you have some sort of disability that doesn't allow you to go into like a more regular field of dating and meeting people, etc., etc. So when my life changed quite a bit through dating and becoming a mom and sleepless nights, I changed my work, and I felt like, okay, if from what I've learned in my work, from where is there a need that I might be able also to provide for the people for now in Belgium, in Flanders, at least. So I started up in February with a project who's called in English More Than Sex, in Nederlands Meer Dan Seks, in which I have a network of people, around 20 people right now, of men and women and others, of professional intimacy workers and conscious sex workers who I can provide as a potential match for people to start practicing intimacy of all sorts, relationship skills and sexuality, both the pleasurable side as the healing side, as the whole range that is just more than just sex, you know, that goes really deeper into everything. So that's a bit where I come from, and then when you asked me to come speak, and then I was like, okay, I don't think I'm really good at dating. I think I have a very loving and hating relationship with dating and dating apps myself. So I don't know if I can give very good. Oops. the chairs are. Okay.
Discussion
panel. Yeah. So I don't know if I can give you great advice. Maybe I need some advice on that, actually. But becoming great in bed, I think I can talk a little bit about that. So at least I'm here for some reason.
Me too. Good evening, goedenavond. My name is Tamara. What to say? I think I'm, from a personal point of view, I'm here for becoming great in bed. And for the dating part, I represent here, like many women behind me. I'm the organizer of the Whisper Festival at Vlaster Festival. That's a festival for women, and it's all about pleasure. And in October, it's the 7th time, and we meet 3 days, and there's a lot of pleasure, and there's also flirting, and a lot of things going on. So I can talk. They are here. They whisper in my ears, and they say to the man. Well, I will speak to the man and to some women. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you. So now we've shared why we're here, and we're all very interested in why you all showed up tonight. So the way I like to, also with my workshops, but also with panels, is to make this more interactive so that we're not just talking at you. What I would love, if you're a yes, is for you to get into groups of 4 and say hi, but like answer the question, like share with each other, like, why did you come here tonight? Like, what do you want to get out of tonight's talk? And, you know, in my silly way, like we could wave a magic dildo and boop you on the head, and then you go down the stairs later and you're like, oh my God, I figured it out. I got the answer. Like what do you want to get out of tonight? Because I think that is also that's just as important as why we think we're here. We'd love to hear from you. So if you want to get into groups of 4, you can just turn to the 4 people around you, or if you want, you can raise a hand and just walk your hand over to people until you have 4 people. Don't do a group of 6. It might be 3 or 4, but go for 4, and then there might be one group of 3. And then you can, share like, why are you here tonight? What do you want to get at? And you'll have like 2 minutes each. So ready, set. How about 2 groups? Or three. Two groups of 3, and then 2 groups of 4. Ready, set. Whoever wants to go first, go. And you've got 2 minutes each. Have a nice conversation. We're not going to time you. Go. Are these going to be okay for everybody? Is everyone's core? Do you want to change your chair out? Like, do you want to go get a chair from the kitchen, or I can go get you a chair if that is going to be less dangerous?
Will it be will you record it all the time?
Yeah.
We're recording this.
Okay. Because I think it will. Well, to me, it looks a bit like the safety to speak.
If we have the mics.
Yeah, if we want to go in interaction with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
So, so one way to do that I've done it before is if people have a share, like when we're sharing, if people have a question, we can repeat what they said, because these mics really only pick up from them.
We can just let them know. Like if you're sharing a mics on whatever, we're just going to summarize it.
How does that feel for you? Well, they can
They
share.
share a little bit about what.
It's yours.
Yeah.
But is it blocking you?
I can choose what I share and not. It's not for me. It's more like
People.
It's for them feeling safe enough to share.
For some of the people, it's not easy. Let alone speak, let knowing that there is some support. So, but okay, that they maybe it's not the most comfortable way for them to speak.
I know how to set that up. I can set that up if you are fine with
Yes.
the podcast not having them really as a part of it.
They are Flemish.
Yes. So, what does that mean?
Or like not more than American speak. I think.
But let's try.
Yeah, let's try. Maybe we need some more American energy.
That's very kind of you. It's my first time in Belgium ever. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Oh,
Yeah, we good. No. Yeah. Let's see how it goes. No, but also the piece I'm hearing is they didn't necessarily sign up for or feel comfortable sharing deeply because this is being recorded.
Yeah.
So in that context, I can. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. The recording had stopped. going again, but I don't know where it stopped. I think it was during introduction. But that it's still recording. I don't know. It's pretty good, but it'll be echoey, whereas this is much better with the sound. $30 more seconds. Does anyone need more time? 'Cause we can extend it. No? Five, four, three, two, one. Thank you, groups, for sharing with you. And so the way that I like to do when we do sharing, because there's a teacher reason for it, right? Like when, get people to meet, get people to talk. And then like if we have another little, group share later, we'll do the same thing, which is like we love hearing, like have a couple of you share, like why are you here tonight? It helps us kind of get to know you. But then like when somebody shares and then somebody else hears, they're like, that, me too. Then we don't feel so alone. And that sharing and getting to notice like, oh, I'm not the only one. Or, wow, I never thought of it like that. Like that can be really powerful and important. The other thing that Tamara brought up too is like, so we're recording this for Laurie's podcast, and these microphones, the kinds of mics these are, really only work if we talk right into them. Like they won't pick up other sound because these are made for musicians up on stage. So if you want to share, like you're not being recorded and we're going to edit this, so it's really just this panel talking. However, if you're like, I need to be recorded, my voice and my opinion must be heard, just tell us and we'll give you the mic. Like you're more than welcome to share and be on your podcast. I mean, if Laurie edits you out, then you can be like, what happened? I quit the mic. But you can take that up with her. But also, like, we want to create a safe space for you to share deeply and not feel like you're going to end up on a podcast or something like that. Because that's not the intention for why we're recording this for us, and that's why we chose these kinds of mics. But you're more than welcome to ask for the mic, because we want you to feel that you can engage with us that way. The other thing, too, is as we're talking, I want to encourage you to interrupt us and ask a question, or I don't know what that word means, or Reed, you're talking too fast, or whatever. Or just be like, Reed, I think you're fucking wrong. We want that kind of engagement, and the reason this is so important to me is as a sex educator, I want you to be able to interrupt things, because being able to interrupt, even when it's sex, to ask a question or to ask for something or to just be like, you know what, I want to stop. Like, I think that's really important. And sometimes some teachers need you to hold your questions till the end because that's just how their brains work best. But for me and for a discussion panel, like you can be polite and wait till somebody's finished, but you can also be like, I want to say something. I want to invite you to be that engaged tonight if that feels true for you. And as far as privacy goes, whatever gets shared here tonight, that's other people's stuff. Like you can go out and share with your friends whatever you talk about or whatever you hear us talk about, but please don't, share details that other people share here because it can get really vulnerable. And like, don't describe people so that we can guess who it was. Like, let everybody be in charge of their own privacy settings. but you can say whatever you want about, definitely about me. I won't speak for you all because I'm a public figure. But we want you also to go and share with your friends and your communities like what you got out of tonight. Just allow other people to have their privacy. Do you want to add anything to that?
No. Let's get started.
Okay. So, if a couple of you want to share why you're here, we would love to know. And if you want to try this out, when you do share, you can share your name and we'll say it back. I'll practice. Hi, I'm Reed. Hi, Reed. Thanks. And I use he, him pronouns, by the way. But also, like, I really love this stuff. And just that we're talking about it means so much to me. So thanks. Thanks for being here. Who else wants to share why you're here tonight? What do you want to get out of tonight?
I want to share why I'm here. I'm here because I know several guys of you, and I'm very interested to have everybody together there with their different opinions and see how that scrolls within each other. And also to sexuality and intimacy has been so important also in my life, and I see so much value in it. So I'm now in like a stage where I'm very slowing down in everything, and it makes me very grounded also. I can see even more value in the intimacy and the sexuality. So that's the reason why I'm here, to learn and to appreciate what all you guys are bringing or setting in the world. And not just like the values of sexuality and intimacy in sexuality and intimacy, but also in like the basic stuff you do in life. So that's why I'm here, and curiosity. And
Do you want to share your name?
Mathieu.
Hi, Matthew.
Welcome. That's nice.
That's why we do it. Who else? Who else wants to share? Going once.
Yeah, I can share too. My name is Lore,
Hi.
and I feel I'm not free in this. I'm not free in sexuality and intimacy. I feel I have like judgments, and there are fears behind the judgments, and I just want to explore this and want to become more free. Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Going once.
I can share.
Please.
My name is Chris.
Hi, Chris.
And I'm here because I've been struggling with intimacy and sexuality all my life, and it's been a really difficult topic for me to reach out to also to women, and so I relate to a lot of the themes that are being discussed, and I just wanted to hear all of your perspectives as well, and see what I can take away from them.
Welcome. Anyone gonna be like, ugh, I should have shared? Any procrastinators who'd like to go now? All right. I'm gonna invite everyone, if you would like, to take a deep breath. And then go, oh. Where should we start? I can ask a question or, okay. Great.
And I would like to say to you, Chris, I feel that I really appreciate you being here, and I think it's really brave. Yeah. Thank you for showing up, and thank you for sharing. Yeah. And probably there are more as you hear, but I feel really touched by what you were saying. Thank you. Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm gonna ask you to pick up the mic. So since you popped the bubble, in your work with people, do you notice a common theme that people are bumping up against when it comes to like sexuality in and out of relationships, maybe their own relationship to sexuality or the relationship they're having to sexuality in their relationships?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, yesterday I was on another event where we could speak freely about sexuality, and there was this one woman, rather young, and she said, "Yeah, I really have this challenge that my head and my body is not, there is no connection anymore. So I can't. Sexuality is something I can't do anymore because there is no connection. Do you think that is changeable?" I think it's changeable, but yeah, she's one example of many women that I meet. I'm speaking to you, but many women that I meet also have challenges with sexuality, and I think you definitely meet women and men. That's really your job, no?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I notice, I think, but it's part of the being in the head thing. I think that there is a lot of insecurity and like the fear of not being able to perform in some way or to please the other in some way. So there's a lot of pressure coming from what people imagine that sex could be like or is supposed to be like. I feel instead of tuning into what is it for me, and this kind of journey inwards of like what do I like, it's not something that we've been taught to do, not at home usually or not at school. And yeah, that's the journeys that people come on, I think, when they come to workshops and stuff like this.
Yeah, I've noticed, especially in the US, but it seems to be tracking in other countries too. Like a lot of our sex education is about pregnancy and, using condoms and STIs, sexually transmitted diseases and infections. And then when the internet came along, because I grew up, I'm old enough that we didn't have the internet, and my dad had Playboy magazines and Penthouse magazines. And then we got a VCR, and that was the first time I ever saw porn, was on a VCR tape, VHS tape, video recorder. Like, it's old people stuff. But some people appreciate the old ways. But there was the sex education that wasn't about pleasure and wasn't about asking about what we liked. And then the internet came, and so then you could look at what sex was supposed to look like, but no one taught us that porn is an entertainment medium and it needs to look visual. And the joke that I use when I'm teaching is like, trying to learn how to be a better lover from watching porn is like trying to learn how to be a better driver from watching the Fast and the Furious. But that a race car or an action movie, you're not supposed to drive like Vin Diesel is driving. But no one says you're not really supposed to eat pussy like they do on porn, because cunnilingus just looks very different for what most bodies need for real. Like, it's not about like if the microphone was a pussy, like and like you're looking, you make sure the camera can see it. It mostly is just you buried in somebody's crotch, and then every once in a while you're like, and then you go back in,
Taking a hair out your teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, or the person with the vulva is like, less, not the clit, not now. But so that those pieces don't ever get talked about, and we need to like unlearn a lot of that stuff. And then there's the pleasure part. What do you two want to add?
Well, what I want to add is kind of first of all, because the title is modern dating, and from the date to this and the openness of that conversation, I think it's a huge, big step like for example, when we were a couple of months ago in a men's circle, we've been like 6 years together, and for the first time we were like, okay, let's talk about sex. And let's talk about all of these topics, like what you were saying. Like, let's talk about the pill and the condom, and is the guy responsible, or is the woman responsible, or how does this go? And a girlfriend, she doesn't want to use the condom. Like, what do you do? How do you have that conversation? And then what I was noticing in the circle for men is like how little knowledge there was, and how little everyone was speaking even with their partner. So I think a lot, or the topic that I want to invoke is how brave are you to talk about every taboo subject. And this is something I found very interesting, is a lot of people, when they start dating, they're kind of afraid to get, or like there's this drama cycle, like, oh, this push and pull. And what I realized is great if you want to catch that game of a drama, but actually there's a much, like, actually we love suspense, and if you really want suspense in life, you can either choose drama and story, or you can choose what are all of these taboo subjects, and can I find a person where I can have all of these brave encounters, because there's so much tension and so much joy in just, let's talk about condoms. Let's talk about STIs. Oh shit! Let's talk about what kind of form. And for me, it was such a discovery that this natural ability of humans to want some tension, you can also find in these tension subjects. Yeah, I felt like adding that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I think about modern dating, I think also of like just a lot of choice. Maybe too much choice, or like I prefer going to a shop where there's not. I don't want to go to the Maxi Coop. Now I'm talking. That's not in Belgium, but like the shop that's like 4 times bigger than a normal shop. Like I don't like too much choice, and I think when I think about modern dating and sex now also, it's just a lot about also figuring out what we want first for ourselves, figuring it out, then knowing how to communicate it, and then how do we co-create what we want. And these are a lot of steps that we're not learning in school, which I'm very frustrated about. But like all of these steps are so important to create what we want. And there was a person responding on social media to this panel and saying, well, modern dating is like everybody is making it so complicated. And then he was also saying like, just go with monogamy, just keep it simple. And we were talking, Reed and I were talking about this as well. It's like, I don't think it matters about what type of relationship it is. Like, monogamy is only more simple if it means I'm just following what I saw my parents do, or I'm just following what I'm seeing in movies. Because what monogamy can mean, like, what does it mean to the two of you? And what can open relating mean to the two of you, or whatever in between thing.
Also, monogamy to me is only easier when you're already in the relationship, right? Because when it's about dating, I don't think it's so much easier for someone to find necessarily, like, even finding one monogamous partner can also be a challenge, right?
Yeah. So for me, it's really about like finding the right person, and then also, how do you create the relationship that you want? And then it's going to be changing every day or every week or every year. And so for me, that's what comes up around modern dating.
And how can you do that with a lot of pleasure and joy?
Exactly. Like, how can the dating be like already fun and playful. And I think a lot of what I hear in like with friends and with people that I work with is like they just like they're so tired of the dating scene, the dating apps, the whole process. They're like drained, and I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I mean, as in, I wish that we could have fun in the process. That's what I mean. Yeah.
I feel at this, when the tiredness hits, it means, it was explained to me at some point, like you can be either in a scarcity mindset, and then, especially I feel like these apps, they really create it. Like you're, at some point you start noticing the shortage within you, and you grab towards these apps because there's a shortage, the scarcity that is living, and then everything is coming from that. And actually, if you really want to be full of energy, how are you in that abundance energy? And it's from the place of abundance actually that we are also the most attractive. So there's something really interesting, like, am I coming from scarcity or am I coming from abundance? And there's a huge shift in attractiveness, I feel like, when that happens. Yeah.
How do you connect with the abundance if you feel the scarcity?
Great question. You're looking at me. Yeah.
Specify, what do you mean by scarcity and abundance in this connection with another person? Because there's materialistic, money, the thing, but now we're talking about dating and relating. What is scarcity and abundance?
So,
Or do you say, for instance, at the first date, like, actually I have a lot of other dates?
Yeah.
That does not work.
Ooh, I'm loving it. It's clearly, this is good.
kind of work in what they said so we know, because none of that got recorded. So
Yeah.
how do you sum that up and then give us a wisdom? We need wisdom.
So
You
the
can
question,
save us.
yeah, yeah. So the question that is coming, if I rephrase it well, is: do you mean is scarcity coming from? Are you talking about materialistic, or are you talking about something different? And what you were saying was.
Yeah, the example of sharing abundance, like on your first date,
Yeah.
sharing like, I have a lot of other dates.
Yeah. If the abundance is okay, do I have a lot of dates? I feel scarcity, and I'm also talking from personal experience. I feel like at some point you can feel like this dopamine rush from these apps, or like you're in this dating process, and there's kind of like this feeling of shortage that you're in. It also touches on the human point of not feeling good enough, being validated by someone else or a situation. And if you get stuck in this loop, then suddenly there's like this much more need for validation from the other, and you don't really have a healthy loop of like, oh, I just feel comfortable in my own skin and everything. And that is what I mean. The state of abundance is like, my life, I have friends who I can just have fun with. I'm doing a lot of things that I'm loving in my life. And yes, there's an addition of a partner that adds on. But at some point, I see many people fall into the trap that at some point, this need for a partner becomes so big and so dominating in someone's life that it becomes this scarcity. And there's something also, when I encountered someone that was more in this feeling, it's just less attractive because they're quite needy, quite and people who have looked at, ooh, this is what I love in life, this is what I love doing, they're just in a much better place, and then it's also on the date you have so much more to share, because there's so much more to unpack and unfold, and that's what I mean with abundance.
Yeah, I can also share something, because now I get this insight also of like, I remember when I was younger, I couldn't masturbate, I couldn't orgasm on myself. I tried a lot, but it didn't work for me. I could feel a lot of pleasure and all this stuff, but I can move my energy, but not really come to a release, let's say. So I was building up, trying to find a lot of days to release the energy with people. And so this, I felt, came really from this scarcity of like needing this connection to release with. And then when I started to learn to orgasm and masturbate on myself, now I can really feel like this need for others is way less, and it's still there because there is a different type of connection that comes with that, and I'm talking now more about sex than about relational dating, but I could totally connect with that.
I'm going to bring that mic back. So what this all brings up is, I think sometimes we collapse or confuse scarcity with starvation. In that, when you were talking about like it's like watching the Food Network when you're hungry and you're watching all this delicious food, but it's not actually getting you what you want. So you're on the apps getting the dopamine from the interactions, but you're actually not getting fed. And that was good sounds. People going, like nailed it. But it's the, and then you mentioned you have friends, like you have places and hobbies that aren't necessarily about relationship, but are filled with relationships. And you're getting your human, like monkey primate needs met and fed, and you're excited or happy about your life and what you get out of your life, even when you don't have the one, or for the the polyamorous people, the 5, right? But you're getting that nourishment socially. And then there's the challenge of, for some people, they don't sleep with their friends. I do, because that's me. Like, I'm a queer polyamorous slut, and my friends are all sluts, and our barbecue has great food and usually a lot of sex. But that's because that's who I am, and it took me 20 years to find my community. And for the people who are still looking for their relationships, the romantic ones, whether you're monogamous or poly or kinky or straight or gay, like, are you getting nourished so that you can, even if you never found your life partner, at the end of your life, would you still be surrounded by people who loved you for who you were? And I think that's the thing we don't talk about, because so much focus has come on the dating and and on the one, or now for the overachievers, your thruple for the poly people. But again, it's still becoming that, like you're poly and you don't have your 3, and then it can only mean failure, when really you're surrounded by community, and you're still getting that nourishment. Yeah.
I feel like I want to interject on finding the one and finding the 3 in whatever situation. Like you were expressing, how can you have fun in doing this? And that expectation I feel in my system right now, like I need to find this one. If this isn't working the way it should work, as I was saying, through all these things we've seen on TV and all these things that we've seen from our parents, and this is how it's supposed to be. What I'm feeling right now is like I'm being closed in and tight, in that if I don't find it, I'm not going to be fulfilled. So like, even by expressing this right now, I'm not going to find the one. To me, it's already indoctrinating this idea again of, to be a one.
Yeah, and how do you deconstruct that? Yeah. And can you talk about that with your friends, or find community where you can talk about this? Because my friends growing up, we didn't talk about this. It would be later that I would start to realize why this was so important for me. and then to find other people who were like, me too, and then we could talk. Whereas with my more conservative friends, me bringing this conversation up just made it really weird. And they're like, why are you talking about this? What else?
I'm wondering how you are, where you are, what are you thinking? Is there something you want to share, to ask? No obligation, but just I feel like...
We're talking too much. What about you?
Yeah, I guess the topic has been touched already. It's you're talking about talking to each other, to even having sex. Sounds great to me. But I've been for a couple of months on a dating app, and I had one date. So there's a lot of scarcity. So yeah, I'm not getting to the talking, let alone the sex part. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Maybe it can be helpful. I just thought it was very fascinating that someone that I came across recently is whenever you are in a group like this and it's physical instead of online, suddenly you become more attractive. Because suddenly people look at you and people, like there's only a limited supply within the room. And really, like honestly, you've probably scanned the room if you think about it, and you're like, oh, look at this attractive guy like in the room, because that is suddenly like the pool that you're choosing from. And there's even an amplified effect that if you start talking to your neighbors, there's even like scientifically proven, like, oh, whoa, this guy is even socially and like he's actually good and he's showing up even more attractive. And I think this is something really important. Is honestly, it's so interesting that we try to meet people on dating apps, and I know it works, but how come we've let that surpass in percentages so much the physical? So I wonder if I would ask you, what are the physical places, not just for dating, but where you're most yourself? Because at some point I needed to realize, like, stop the dating, and just go to 5 or 8 places where you are just in your element and with friends and socially surrounded well, and that's when I met, actually, like I went through the dating pool, but actually that's when I encountered someone. This just really matches. Yeah.
Yeah, my experience has been that I go to like activities in groups, like you said, not for dating, for whatever reason, and then a week later I see someone from that group on a dating app, and then there's a connection. And
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and I also think what happens a lot is, like, we do this scanning and we notice someone, and then it's an interesting process to question yourself, what do you do with that then after? Because very often we feel it, maybe even our intuition is telling us that it might be a mutual attraction or something like that, and we leave the room, we leave the event, we leave the evening, and we leave it like that, which is totally fine. But if you are longing for, if you're actively getting frustrated on the apps, the question is, what can you do that is in your hands to actually make that a date after the event as well? And then, I think often the answer is braveness and potentially the trauma behind it of rejection and all of that. But that's a good thing to work through and learn and look at, I think. Yeah.
Just a little, like, I hear so many people that get ghosted all the time, or that, with the apps, it's just no one is coming back, or they're not even showing up on a date. And I have only been opening a dating app twice for a period, I've never opened it with the like, oh, now I want to find my partner. It has been feeling very light and just like, oh, you know, and I've been having wonderful meetings, some sexual, some not sexual. So it has been like very not loaded for me. But I do notice every time I've been having one of these apps on my phone, it's like just in random moments I would be opening them and looking if someone has been liking me. And it's like how many people do that? Just like having the app, liking the conversation, liking that people interact with them, and then, you know, but they're not really dedicated to move on with it. So like just as like opening the app, like why am I opening the app? Who recognizes that? Or yeah. So I'm not counting on apps. It's nice if you find someone there that you already met to have like yeah.
Something else that I remember from your workshop, Joris, that I think we all can practice, and we did it also at your liberation journey, Lore, is giving compliments to each other. And you can do that with friends, you can do that with your family, just to practice. And then when you see someone you find attractive, just give that beautiful, pure compliment. And I think it's a beautiful way to start connecting. Yeah. And I was also trying that today, and I felt very awkward. So yeah, even though I practice with you a lot, Lore, I still see it's not a habit to do. Yeah.
At some point, I gave myself the exercise, the rejection exercise, to go to a festival and look for rejection, and yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was a really interesting experience because then suddenly I was on a dance floor and I was like, okay, looking for the rejection, and yeah, it was interesting because then. I would go for people that I think were my level. But if I was going for rejection, well, I was going for like, holy shit, this person in the room, I really would love to dance with. But good to know what's all on your mind. Yeah. It was. But if someone dances with me, I mean, it's the beginning of something. But the interesting part is the first night. But no one was rejecting me, and I was really surprised that the rejection wasn't coming. And then, and towards the end of the night. There's actually a woman that approaches me and she's like, "You're dancing with so many people. I wanted you to really dance with me." And then I was like, oh, like I could feel like I need to reject her. And then I went through this like really super awkward. I handled it really badly. I was like the pleaser, like. Oh yeah, maybe we'll like talk later and like the blah blah blah, and then like that night I was like, oh shit, I did my exercise poorly because actually she came to show me how you reject, and actually it's really hard to reject. And something that I want to say is that also for the person that is rejecting, it's not easy, and it gave me so much more empathy for the person that is trying to reject me. Because they're giving me a gift. They're actually honestly saying, hey, yeah, like just not that, like we can dance together, but I'm not like that interested in you that we need to go even so many more steps. And it made me realize, like, later on in that festival, I definitely got rejected, so no worries. I definitely got but then later on, it really showed me is rejection shows me my deepest desires in the room. rejection, and if I meet rejection, if I meet my fears, it's like a compass that guides me in life. So if there's something that you have fear on, or feel like resistance, how can you use that as a compass? Because maybe it's trying to show you something that you really need to know.
That's wisdom.
Tamara, do you have anything you want to add to this? Jump in. You're just suspiciously silent.
Can I also add something about that?
Yes, please. Wisdom.
Well timed.
Well, like the rejection part, it's really interesting because last I was also on the men's festival, and there are a lot of men over there. And I could also good job, great observation. Yeah, and I could also really feel like, for me, from which men do I want close to me, or which men do I feel it's okay to just meet them if I meet them, but I'm not feeling yet if I want more connection. And then I came to a point that there was like 3 times in that weekend that people would come to me and really say like, I want to get to know you. I want to feel you closer. We should meet. We should meet. And I was really like, in that I was like, sometimes really feeling the no, and in my head it was like, oh shit, I want to say no. I want to say like in a brave, mature, natural way, without also like rejecting them fully, because it's also in my heart a little bit, but like to softly say no, or like I don't have the priority for that. And then I could really see the mind struggle like in my head, and there maybe yeah, let's see, or maybe just like going into the silence and and then like waiting till the shift of the conversation is to go run a little bit, or sometimes then just say yes, I'm walking away, and then really in my head like, this is why I'm here for. I need to learn how to say in a constructive way, no, it's not my priority, or no, I want, like, so it's super interesting.
To add to the rejection piece, because there's the two sides that you're pointing out, right? Like how brave it is to say no, and I think also like finding a way that is very congruent and works well for you. Like I have friends who do a little like appreciation sandwich, they call it, where they're like, thank you so much for your request or for the asking, and like I'm going to be a no to that. And way to use your voice and like ask for what you want. And they have this lovely way of just kind of 2 appreciations, like the bread and then the no in between, and it leaves people feeling really nice because they really are appreciating this person. They're not just using it as a formula. And then the other piece is, for me, and in the Cuddle Party workshop in America, this is where this came from for me, was like thanking people whenever they say no, because I would hate for somebody to say yes and not want to do a thing. And especially when it comes to sex, I would feel horrible if I found out the next day, you thought I couldn't handle my disappointment, so you said yes anyway. Like I don't want that. So whenever somebody says no to me, like I thank them for taking care of themselves. It also avoids something that used to happen in my family, where you'd invite a family member to a thing, they would say yes out of obligation, but you didn't know that. And then you'd go do the thing with them and they didn't want to be there. And it made it worse. It took all the fun out of it because they were just not wanting to be there. So that like thanking people for saying no also means that when you say yes, I can trust the yes. But if you can never say no to me, I can't trust your yes ever. And that has been really helpful for me. And I still work on it because I'm a people pleaser. You know, I want everyone to be happy, but there's a shadow to that when I don't say my no's.
I can also feel with me there's a difference when I feel like the right people, or when I feel more, it's like when there's slowness in the voice, or when there is like some pauses and sometimes how we talk to each other, which creates like a safety within me that I can really take my time to say it all. But when there is like a quickness in it or speed in it, or then it triggers something in me that it's like I'm not getting space or something, or which then I do a little bit like this, and then I get in my head and I don't know how to get out of that.
Mm.
Because when the slowness is there, then it's for me much easier to say the note also.
Mm.
So when the speed is there, it's more distance creating for me. Like that.
I would love to draw the parallel between, you know, how important the yeses and the nos are in creating or like meeting the right people or creating the relationships we want, and the slowness in it, and how we can say exactly the same when it comes to sex or becoming great in sex and creating the kind of sexual meetings that we want. And again, like, can we be there then and like be with the awkward, be slow down, pause when it's needed, or like what's needed there, so we can really sink in and create what we want. And here I want to give the mic to you again, but as in like take your mic.
I just wanted to share, not about, well, I was still hanging in the rejection. I'm I tried to date with a woman. I'm 55 and I never dated a woman, and I tried to do that. It's on my checklist in life. I really want to date a woman. And finally I found one I was really attracted to. And it was so funny to feel. I have a lot of self-confidence, but I became so small. And I didn't dare to, I felt like, oh my God, I want to say something to her. I want to invite her for a coffee. I didn't dare. And all these old patterns came from being one of the girls, and I feel there was these old memories of being excluded. And the things between women, and suddenly it came to me like, oh, there's a lot of like trauma, well, not nice experiences in my body that are in the way, and so I really don't dare to. I'm too scared for the rejection, and it was really interesting. And I want to share something what I did. We were together somewhere, and she wrote a paper. Hey, I'm at the beach, see you later. And I took this paper and I put it in my bag, and I still have it. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm really behaving like a 14-year-old girl. So I was thinking about the rejection, that although I'm 55, it's really, it can be so scary, really scary. Yeah.
And
I wanted to, that was in my mind, you noticed. The scariness.
Yeah, and it's really in the like meeting someone, asking someone to dance, asking someone out, but also like when you're in a relationship, all the small moments, like someone is licking you and it's like, oh, can you not do it there? Or like maybe you're like, oh, okay, that was a bit, you know. There's a small moment of rejection. It's like, there's all the time, but it's so important to say it, because otherwise you're just enduring something for who? Like
rejecting yourself in a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, well, I think with rejection, it's also really interesting. Are they rejecting everything of you, or are they rejecting a piece? And sometimes it makes it easier. So with flirting, I also think it's really interesting. Is if I explain flirting, it's this game of life of speed. Someone will go really fast, and someone will go slow. And the one that is fast is the initiative taker, and the one that is slow is the safety bringer. And this is where I often see things going like, why is there rejection? Because someone moves so fast, and the other person is like, whoa, I'm just not ready for it yet. So sometimes it's not that they're rejecting everything of you, they're only rejecting the speed at what you're going. Because what the flirting process really is, hey, we're coming closer and we're just exploring each other. And the beauty about flirting is that you unravel all the aspects of a person. You unravel, hey, do we physically connect? Do we mentally connect, emotionally, maybe even sexually connect? Like, what are all the layers? And another aspect is not just speed, but some people try to bring all of them right from the start. They're like, here, this is me. And then it's like, whoa, like you cut all of the fire out of the flirting, because actually it's kind of nice to show the variety that you have to offer. Hey, I have a fun side, but I also have an emotional side, and we can also have a discussion. And the more sides of yourself you show, the more you show, hey, this is interesting enough for a future encounter again. And for me, this was very valuable to like really look at it like this is how people work. And for me, it was interesting to look at it that I'm not just flirting with a love partner who I really want to go deeply, but also like I'm flirting with friends, I'm flirting with groups, I'm flirting with everything in life. And it's so the more you see that you're flirting everywhere in life, then suddenly everything becomes a practice. So when the time comes you need to be ready, then you are ready. Yeah.
And also, the example Tamara gave, like if you feel like I'm scared, I feel, if for me it helps when I say, when I explain how I feel, and then in my body is changing, and even if I need to close my eyes while saying it to that person, and then I ask her to go for a coffee. But, yeah.
I want to, if I may make this one little link here, because it already touched me when it comes to food. That's the love language for me. And so when I'm getting all these little pieces, and I think that's sometimes really hard for people to grasp, like, this is just a part of me, and how can I get this flavor? So I'm just imagining this plate of food of like 20 different things of me, and if we just shove everything in someone's mouth, it's just gonna be, you don't know what this hummus tastes like here, or what this toast with avocado tastes like here, or this piece of lasagna, or whatever it might be. You just get it all mixed together, and trying to digest all that at once is like, okay.
Big smoothie.
Yeah, big smoothie there. It's like, maybe you don't like smoothies too, so it's, yeah, I just wanted to make that link to food there. So it helps me understand it. Yeah.
Where are you? I'm just wondering.
I love that.
Is there something in your mind, or and especially maybe the people who didn't, you don't have to speak, but if there is something.
If you came here for answers.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Guide us a bit.
A topic that hasn't been touched.
Yeah.
Or something you want to know more about.
Or an aha moment that you're having from what's already been shared.
Can I share?
No.
Yeah, what he said resonates because I have the feeling that it's all in, especially in the dating apps, that it's already necessary to have the whole plate ready to show to someone. While it's something something very fun to show every part of myself. And I guess maybe that's why I have like a lot of like I don't know if the dating apps are the way to go or something, but there's still the opening during the day, and then like why am I even scrolling the app? It doesn't really matter at the moment, but it's something that resonates. Or I feel a lot of pressure to like the expectation that everybody has like throw your full plate at me right from the start.
Yeah.
So I would I guess I would like it a little bit more slow or so.
Even, like it resonates. Often when I have a date, it's like, okay, I'm getting one chance to do it all right.
Yeah, so it comes under pressure instead of authentic.
Yeah. I will share my approach, which is unconventional, but there's a reason. So mostly what I do when I'm meeting people, and I do a little bit on apps, but mostly I meet people in person. But I do the same thing, which is I try my best to scare people away by sharing the things I don't. This is my version of it. You don't have to do it this way. I share the things I think you can't love me for. Because for me, like, I had to figure out that I'm queer and I'm polyamorous and I'm very promiscuous. So whatever you think, however many people you have to sleep with to be promiscuous, I'm telling you, put a 0 on the end of it. At least one. And so I just lead with that. Because what I'm looking for is people who are looking for somebody like me. Because they are that person too. And so whatever your version is of this is what I'm scared to tell you can maybe be a good place to start. Because what it does is it focuses the things that are truest for you and vulnerable in a healthy way. Like, maybe go do some therapy first before you share. But like, because it's not therapy. But it's like, if you're monogamous and want children, I am the worst choice for you, because I am not any of those things, and I will only make you miserable no matter how much chemistry we have. It's just not going to work. And what that has done for me is there is a kind of authenticity for the people that are interested. And then the flirting, maybe I'm too goofy and weird, but like, at least there's a truth to us meeting. And I'm not trying to be somebody else. And that has helped me a lot. But it was also really scary, because if you rejected me, you were rejecting the real me. So, your mileage may vary, but that has gotten me to where I am now, just as a person. And the people who love me, they love me because I'm a slut.
Yeah, but that's still really scary if you only have one date a year and you still want to see and have a connection and all those things. Like, I completely agree, but at the same time, it gets way hard. Like, if you can try that every week, like, that's fine, that's working. But if you can't, like, how do you start there?
Well, so part of it too was as I discovered these pieces of me, I just let all my friends know. I lost some friends because they're like, you're becoming way too slutty and I don't understand why. But as I would let people know, it was me just sharing what I was discovering about myself. It wasn't that I was hitting on everybody trying to get in their pants. But what would happen is that, like, I would tell somebody, or like, I need to introduce you to these people because there's a whole, like, the joke would be like, I tell my friends at the bar and they'd all leave, and then somebody at the bar would be like, queer polyamorous slut, we're all in the back room. Why are you up here? And so that, you know, sometimes the people that you're meeting or the people that you're going on a first date, it's not about you two having a second date. It's about them being, yours telling like, oh, I actually need to introduce you to my friend. I think you two would be a better fit. And we forget to, like, dating is also social networking in a certain way.
Don't do that often enough in Flanders.
It's what I wanted to add, like, okay, because I'm totally different than you, and it's, but at some point it's like these apps, it's a lazy way of meeting people. Like, you're swiping and you're using a finger to do something, and it's what no one, if you want to beat the odds, what no one is doing anymore is, I feel like, is just, hey, I'm in this group, and let me walk up to a person and actually, like, give them that compliment, and it can be that simple, like, and put the bar lower, like, they don't immediately need to be my life partner, but hey, wow, like, you have a great energy, I would love to just have a drink. And maybe it's just a drink, and then it's another friend that you've added. But honestly, it is that simple. But it requires a little bit of guts to be like, hey, it's in the train, like, whoa, can I just sit next to you? Like, there's something about your energy as soon as you walked into, at some point, that's how I met someone. I was like, and then she had someone, so it didn't work out. However, she did give her number. Interesting, actually, yeah. I didn't call her, I must admit. But there is something about this that beat the odds. Like, you're already coming here, and honestly, there's so many people who are probably even afraid of being here tonight, just because the topic of dating and talking about that in real life is already something tense. And there's really something about that. All the trends are saying that people are going less online. There's a reason for that. I think the effectiveness, we need to change this game and make it fun again, for me. Yeah.
When I zoom out, do you first? When I zoom out, I keep on just seeing the parallel between, the dating process, having sex, and how I just want to relate to life and relate to anyone I meet. It's like, I want to be in my this is, me speaking for myself. Like, I want to be in my body. I want to slow down. I want to be curious. I want to enjoy the process. And when I'm also hearing this, like, it's already performance, the first date, it's like the same as performance anxiety in sex, and the same as performance anxiety in career-wise or, wherever. And so, like, if there's that anxiety already at the first date, what would you do with your performance anxiety in bed? Or, it's the same thing. I just see this parallel everywhere.
The analogy that's coming up in my head is like, it's like with sports. If you have friends that you play soccer with, and it's not about winning, it's just about playing. We're just having fun, and maybe we keep score, but it's really about being together and doing something we love and being good at it. But it's not about having to win the championship or something like that. And the idea of, like, in sex too, like, I want to be good at it, but how can we play? It's not about the goal of winning something. And I think in the dating, people are trying to win their life partner, and they forgot that it's supposed to be fun.
It's focusing on the orgasm and forgetting all the rest that's coming before it.
Yeah, and I would also like to add on that. For me, it's more like a distillation process, because sometimes I also get lost into this thing of like, this is my end goal, you know, finding someone who has the same dreams and goals and la 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 la. And it's a lot. And that's what I hate about dating, because that's very hard to find. But then what I love about dating, or where all the good experiences are coming from, is where I really distill it to, okay, what is one thing that I would like to experience or explore right now? And then find someone who can share that little experience with me. And that can sometimes be of like, hey, I'm in this practice of talking to people that I almost don't know, and I just want to give you this compliment as part of my own practice. Or hey, I want to go on a date with you. And or even in sex, like, hey, I want to experiment this little small kink I have, and this is just the only thing that I feel a yes to with you, and all the rest, if we don't match, it's fine, let's just explore this. And with that, I had a lot of wins, because you make it really small. And it's easier to find a match for something really small than for the whole shebang. Yeah.
Just like this room.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying, online versus being in this room.
Yeah.
Something small.
Yeah. And this, like, at some point when I switched the word in my head to, oh, now I have explorations, actually it made it easier for me, because then suddenly when I had like a date and it was an exploration, sometimes I knew like, this is maybe not the complete package. But then I changed it in my head as like, oh, but what are they bringing to the table to show me? And then I realized, like, oh, this person is showing me how great playfulness is, or this person is showing me how great, like, physical being together. And I could feel like, oh, like we're not meeting on maybe an intellectual level, or emotionally I'm not being met. And so there is a stage, especially after my 12-year relationship, that I needed to go through explorations, because I was not ready to meet the partner that I'm currently with. Like, just imagine the partner, if you don't have a partner at the moment, the partner you really want to be with is already out there, but is already doing the work. So they're already at a level where you want to be at. So you better start practicing. And that idea really helped me, like, oh, I need to be practicing. So let me go through these explorations so that I'm ready. And at some point I met her and I was like, holy shit, I'm ready. And then I did feel more ready. And then it was also, but then the danger, and I sometimes see this as well, is that sometimes people start believing that an exploration is actually a relation, and they get stuck in the exploration. And this is what they settle.
And the expectation.
The expectation, yeah. And this is sad sometimes. I could feel how easy it was sometimes to settle in an exploration and get stuck in it. And then it's your, like, hey, this was an exploration, and can you also end it? Because, like, just deep down know, like, hey, what am I really worth? And I think it all starts with, do you know what you're really worth?
And in care for the other, be clear that this is an exploration to you and not the start of building the relation. If you know that up front, because
absolutely.
That's where a lot of pain also comes from in the connections. Yeah.
Or sometimes saying, hey, we're in a period of exploring. Is this an exploration or a relation?
Let's figure it out.
When do you say that? On the dance floor? You say, I want to explore a little bit. Is it okay that I explore? Yeah, it's confusing. When do you express this?
Before you have sex.
But when you meet someone on the dance floor, you could be like, hey, can we dance together? And then, can we talk? And then I think it's all exploring.
Yeah.
already like. Yeah.
But, I'm sorry, you should have the microphone.
Do I need to repeat that?
Yeah, well, it didn't get recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, like on the dance floor, it ends when the song ends, and then you re-up or not. But with dating, and then, just being nice to people and present can fuck them up, because so many people have had so many shitty experiences with dating, and that you just being kind, especially if somebody's starving for attention and affection, can start to have people be like, you're the one. And so it is about like, hey, like, let's have a check-in and not just immediately jump on the relationship escalator, going towards more and more in marriage and whatever. And it's hard, because that was something I struggled with is, as I was becoming more me, it would be late, and I lived in New York City. The bars would close at 5. I was a bartender. Somebody would go home with me, and then it'd be like, 6 a.m, and they lived in Brooklyn, and I'm like, sleep over. Like, why are you getting a cab? That makes no sense. And then we'd wake up. Maybe we'd had morning sex too, and then I'm like, do you want pancakes? Because I got to eat, and I'll cook you breakfast. And then it was just like, you didn't kick me out of bed and send me home, and now you're cooking me breakfast. You must really like me. Like, yeah. And I was just being nice. And then I was like, oh shit. Like, I had to learn how to I had to learn how to stay nice, but not become mean. And sometimes I think ghosting is about, I don't know how to say no nicely, so I just have to cut you off. And it gets, like, that's a thing you have to kind of figure out your own version of that.
But I feel like your question was, how do you start? Like, yeah. For me, the answer to that is, or was, like, to really practice these skills that you guys talked about. Like, ask things I'm scared of asking, get rejected sometimes, speak my truths. And the thing is that you can practice these every day. You don't have to date for them. Like, you can practice them at work, with friends, and then at some point I met, for the first time, like, a girl I was interested in. And yeah, I had this, I knew, the first thing was actually that I was aware of the fact that, like, shit, I'm interested, and I'm scared to ask the question. And by recognizing that, I was like, okay, so I know what I have to do now, ask the question. The true story is I jumped in a cold lake first, and then I was like, okay, now I'm ready. And then okay, I kind of like you, do you want to, like, talk or something? And that was, like, the first intimate connection I had after, like, a long year of struggling, but yeah, it started with the skills, I feel like, and it's very frustrating, because honestly it's way easier now that I don't feel the scarcity, because I also have a lot of intimate connections, but it started with having those skills, I feel like.
There is so the thing I figured out back when that story I told you, I call it the casual sex protocols. It's a checklist, but you can also use it for dating. And it's at readaboutsex.com/protocol. And it's a checklist, and some of it is about slowing down. So some people find somebody they like, and they're both a yes to another date, and then they go, like, on a date every week, which is kind of like already turns into a relationship, even if you're just dating. You're seeing each other every week, and, like, different ways to slow it down so that everyone can kind of get grounded again, especially if you're starving. And so, like recommendations, like maybe go on a date every other week or once a month to really give you two a chance to slow down. But then you're like, but we're going on a date once a month, but we talk every day, or we're texting all the time, which is really just, you're getting your dopamine hits over and over from each other in these little ways. And so it's like, how do you slow it down in a way where you can both be grounded and take the time and keep reiterating, like, hey, like, this feels like it's going well, but like, I'm not sure I'm ready yet. So like, I don't want to disappoint you and hurt you, but I also don't want this to stop. What do you think? Like, how are you feeling about things? And to keep it as not just as verbal, but like text it every once in a while so people can reread it and remind themselves that we're still dating. It's not a relationship yet.
I just want to bring back the attention to, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I heard you ask is also, if you know it's an exploration, you don't want to move it to a relationship, when is the time to say that? And Minna responded kind of before sex. And I think like it's a question that comes back is like, when is it, if you know what you're searching for, when is the time to bring that up without like being too fast and like, this is what I want, do you want this too? Or like, oh wow, now we're so far in and like, and you don't want this with me? And like, so I'm still kind of with this question a little bit, which is not, yeah.
I kind of personally like it if people start with that. If they know what they want, I would like to know from the start, like to have them have it in their dating profile, like very clear, or to tell them and express me very clearly what they want from the start. I love that because then I can immediately feel my yes and jump into that with that person, or I can say I need time to check in with that before I go into my own loop of story of what this can become and does that match my like longing and stuff. Yeah.
I think the danger is, I agree. I also love the clarity up front. And it can be dangerous to get into, okay, so this is the plan. And like this just like genuine curiosity, like who's here, how is this feeling, what's emerging, what's coming up, is it
but
like
that's not lacking usually.
I think like, yeah, ideally we can hold both, and that's the tricky part, is what I'm hearing from people also.
I'm hearing like different domains of reaching for a partner, searching for that, wanting to grab for that, but also being able to express what I want, if we're able to keep it light and fun and explore. It's a word that I've been exploring these past months, and it's been a game changer for me. By exploring what there is there and expressing it from the beginning, it takes away expectations. My personal experience is where I've had the biggest heartbreak, and I can feel it again too, like my whole world is just crumbling apart, is by moving forward with something where I feel it's moving into this. I feel that there's potential for connecting deeper, having this longer relationship and possibly living together. And I'm living in a fantasy then, and I've never fully expressed this fantasy to this person. And then the cannonball, bam, hits so fucking hard. And it's been a beautiful message to me. Say, what do I want? And to me, that's what I'm hearing coming back in a lot of this, just changing the narrative, changing the way we look at things. That if we take out that it needs to be this relationship, let's explore. If we take out this part of this is what's supposed to be, let's explore and see what it has. And being authentic means, hey, this is what I want. Hey, I like you. This is not what it's going to be, but there could be a friendship here. It doesn't need to be the relationship. It can be anything. It doesn't need to be something specific.
Yeah, I think something you bring up really well that I think I see so happens so often is that a person is idealized or that there's a lot projected upon potential. Like, oh, this person has potential, or this like whoa, like, and then like this whole story starts creating in our head, and like,
and it's the potential for them to fulfill your fantasy.
Yeah. And I think my biggest dating tip is how soon can you pop that bubble or that projection screen, because honestly, I believe in a relationship you should constantly break that bubble, and it's naming. It's naming. Hey, like I've been. Like this is the story I've been creating in my head, or like this is what I've been projecting upon. And the more awareness we have on that, the better. I feel like, honestly, it's a tough lesson because I feel I ruined my 12-year relationship because I kept idealizing her. And actually, it's not fun. It wasn't fun for her being idealized because she was like, you're not completely seeing me. And that started from the start. And so in my exploration, something I really needed to learn is to not idealize or not project, so that I'm also not showing only a better version of me. So that's the first projection, that I want to project the best version of me, and that I'm only seeing the best version of them. And if that the piece that unravels is not so pretty and you don't want it, good. The earlier it shows within the dating, the better. It will save you in the long run. But if you keep popping that screen or bubble and you keep wanting to meet, whoa, like that is like very...
Yeah. We withhold the things we think will scare people away. And then if you share the thing that you're afraid to share and they're like, okay, I'll still see you. And then you're like, oh shit. Did you have a hand up?
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, how can you really embrace this slowness and giving each other the time and space to get to really know each other? Because sometimes you start dating, you don't even know the person, and you might have all sorts of ideas. You might even be on the same page of what you want, but you don't know each other. So, like, how to deal with also feelings of insecurity and rejection in this path of taking the time.
Yeah. So the question, just so we have it recorded too, is like, how do you slow down and take the time to get to know each other, even if you feel like you're on the same page, you still don't know each other yet. And was that a hand to respond? Yeah.
I just felt from the moment you asked, like, when do you ask for, like, hey, can we explore? And here I feel it as well. And it's actually something that you inspired me a lot, Minna, a long time ago. That when
Oh, is it working?
No expectations.
Is it working? Yeah.
Is the moment you feel like a kind of connection with someone to ask, mostly very specific, what you like to explore, and also put a time frame. For instance, like, hey, can we like 1 month explore how it is to connect every day? For instance, to call or send a message, or to someone like, how would it be to, for like 2 months, that I can be your dom and you're my sub, and then after these 2 months, we just end this, or we see then at that moment how it is. So really asking for a kind of time frame, and that can also be just like for 1 night, like, yeah. And I really like that. Maybe.
Just want to add on to that again, back to the scarcity and everything else, or how much choice is there. It gets confined, and then it doesn't become this big thing that it needs to be there forever, and we will always have this type of connection, and this type of connection, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and we should be able to have it all at all times because it should be available. No, it's here. We explored this.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing. And I also want to come back to a part of your question, is slowness. So it's really hard if if one person always needs to stay in the slow part and the other person is always in the fast part. After a while, you're like, ugh, this is so. The invitation is how can you create both slowness and speed with that is the spectrum that you hold. And speed is what I mean is what the slowest person, what is the initiative that they can still take? And the fastest person, how slow can they go? And I think these are really beautiful things to explore because it shows what is the range of us. And I think the most beautiful couples can switch between slow and fast. So because it's not fun only carrying the weight of let's slow down, slow down. I feel a lot of women often carry that like burden to like slow it down. But actually, I feel like when that is named and when it's like all of these things are just named and played with and experimented, then I feel like the playful element is kind of a speed bringer. So it can, and the container, I really like that as well. Like, can it be contained? Let's try this for 15 minutes. And then even for the fast person, it's like 15 minutes of slowness I can do. But if it's like unlimited slowness, like after some, like it's also too much to handle. So playing with that. I don't know if that helps, but yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, Tamara is getting something.
Tamara, do you have anything you want to share?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to share. I'm again curious where you are.
Tamara.
Yeah.
Yeah. When are we over?
Hoe laat is het?
It's
3 na 9.
yeah.
It's time to start landing the plane.
Yeah.
Yes.
What time is your train?
I have to check it. It's
Great.
half an hour or something.
But
So
we're supposed to end now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wait, do we still have 10 minutes to land the plane for everyone? 10 minutes, so that it's not rushed at the end. Yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah, well, or 5 minutes. Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah.
So what about we each share a takeaway here, and maybe some words also.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start. We can start there. Yeah. Some words, or you can cheat. You can say 3 or 5 words as well.
An aha moment. An aha moment or something that was useful for you tonight in a sentence or two.
You really have the braveness to express desires, needs, and expectations. It's quite hard, but you encourage me to do it. So thank you for that.
Good.
Anyone else?
Exploring. See it as a exploration.
For me, this is like a home and abundance, and fuck yeah. I'm really enjoying just the conversations and the openness and everything. And it's lighting up my, I feel it floating up my body and everything. Yeah, thank you.
For me, what shows up this evening is also the fear of failure. And you also talked about already about rejection. That it's not quite the same in my feeling, because for me, there was also the fear of having an acceptation and the failure in that, because then there is a part of me that I don't know where to go from there. So yeah, also that part of like, okay, rejection, like I don't know how to handle, like both process and blah, blah, blah. But being accepted, and then that's unknown territory. And if for me, like I really see the fear of failure in that, and it helps also hearing from other people. Okay, sometimes you just have to find the courage in yourself and go past the barrier. Even sometimes it doesn't work, but yeah, how much fear of failure there's still in you to take that leap.
Thank you for sharing.
My takeaway is, whenever I dare to date with that woman or another one, I will start showing up my the side I think she will definitely not like that. I think that's a good, I like it. And then see what happens. But first daring and then showing,
What's sticking most for me is the enjoyment in whatever I'm doing, and going back to, did you say soccer game, or what game do I want to play? Like, there's many ways of dating. Like, what do I enjoy? What game do I want to play?
The takeaway for me is because I think I'm guilty of shoving all the food in somebody's mouth. Take that as you may. But it feels so dangerous for me to just share a little pieces of me. Like, I feel like I have to warn everybody and show them everything. So I'm like, wow, like, am I overcorrecting? And what would it be like to be like, how about just trying the hummus today? Maybe, next week we'll move on to falafel. Doing it like that.
Mina. Yeah, I feel like I haven't finished talking. There's still so much that we can address too. And I came in a little bit down today, like a lot was going on, and now I feel hosting again. Some kind of excitement to, to dare to connect again and to be hopeful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought it was interesting to see sometimes what you all responded to. Like there were some topics that was like this aha, and it reminded me like, yeah, this is really important. And so for me, the biggest takeaways are sometimes your reactions to some of the things that were said. Then I'm like, I forgot, like sometimes I forget certain things myself, and it actually helps remind me. Like, for example, when you shared, like, I was like, oh yeah, the frustration, like there was also like this piece of like frustration underneath, and I was like, yeah, like, thanks for reminding me of that, because it's so true, and yeah, so I love that. There's the mirror, and there's lots of aliveness in this topic. So I just sometimes I'm like, why do I get asked for a topic like this? But then when we start talking about it, I'm like, I find this so fascinating. So there's like, it's like a kid that gets to share. So thanks. Yeah.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, I fell a little bit more in love with each of you. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for being here. Being part, so engaged. Being part. Yeah. Yeah, we have some more things coming up. Do you want to say something else first?
I mean, as you leave, I like stickers, so I have stickers that are free over by the T-shirts. So if you see stickers, the Embrace the Awkward sticker, like those are mine. Take some for your friends; they're free. If you want a T-shirt, it tells you how to buy them. Come ask questions if you need things. And we're running a bunch of workshops this weekend, so I'll hand it over.
Tomorrow evening, here, everything is here. Show and tell our bedroom favorites. It's a little bit the same type of thing, only we're not just going to be talking, but it's the same like level of engagement. So that's tomorrow evening. Saturday, it's rough sex for nice folks during the daytime, and then the afternoon is essential play party with intro workshop. And on Sunday we have oral sex grad school. So it's all the things beyond intro workshop.
Yeah, and so for me as an educator, I think learning how to do things from watching and being able to ask questions is a really unique situation. Before I was a sex educator, I was a martial artist and an instructor. So like with martial arts, sensei shows you the technique and then you try it out on your training partners. And for kinesthetic learners and for visual learners, like that is a great way to learn things and to learn your body. And so when I became a sex educator, that part of what was missing when I was teaching in the beginning is like just the show and tell and then the try things out. And so a lot of the workshops show and tell tomorrow night. There's a bunch of things we're going to show you. You get to actually ask too for things to be shown. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we won't. And then oral sex grad school is talking about and showing and trying things that if you went to a regular blowjob workshop, it's like all the beginning basics. And I like grad school to talk about all the stuff that you don't get to in a beginner's class. And I think that people seem to love that. And they're just like, I didn't know you could do a thing called the flying squirrel. And then they're like, I will do that to my partner when I get home. And then you get an email the next day. The flying squirrel changed my life. And it's just fun stuff like that. And make it fun and silly. That's the mystery.
I've seen it.
That was the point.
I was at a show and tell I was at a show and tell. It's very visual. Let me keep it at that.
It's a pleasure move you can do on nuts, on balls, and it's called the flying squirrel because then it's unforgettable. But but like we don't talk about this stuff and we don't show things, and this is why it can be so important when you can create a safe container to ask questions and be like, oh well, like this is how you know, if you're going to use your fingers and try to help somebody squirt, these are the things that you would be doing. And it helps a lot if you can put pressure on somebody's shoulders because it helps them get into their pelvic floor. And then you can start understanding like, oh, we're like ropes and pulley systems all attached to our erectile tissue. And this is how to help people get in their bodies. And also like not go too fast because you can't, you need to go at the speed of somebody else's nervous system. So I'm going to shut up now. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
So take a deep breath. And then go, oh.
I would say check her meer dan seks.be. Check it out. It's really worth it. Check out a Fluister Festival for all the women en mannennetwerk.org of mannencirkels.org als je in een mannencirkel wilt zitten. En ik doe ook individuele coaching sessies.
And if you got your eye on someone tonight, remember not to get out of this room without telling them a compliment, at least.
Be brave.
And if nobody compliments you, that doesn't mean that no one likes you.
They're just not ready yet, maybe. Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Reed, for doing this.